My name is Linz Jakehouse. I'm a non-binary person who uses they, them pronouns, and I am the proud founder of 603 Equality, our statewide LGBTQIA+ advocacy group. I have watched the way that Milford Pride has grown over the past years, from a tiny festival in the small park by the post office to the major event that it is today. I met many of the organizers of Milford Pride back in 2022 when a certain school board member was trying to block transgender students from accessing the school bathrooms where they felt most safe. Yeah, boo for that. Together, we organized rallies outside of school board meetings, got a ton of media attention, poured our hearts out in testimony. And when in early 2023, the school board decided to put trash bags over urinals, limit the number of students in restrooms, and proposed building floor-to-ceiling doors in the name of privacy, over 100 students walked out of Milford High School in protest and got the school board to reverse the policy like that. Now, more than ever, we need to summon that kind. Since then, Milford has worked together to elect more school board members who support inclusion for all students, including LGBTQIA students. And now, more than ever, we need to summon that kind of energy all over the state, because our community is under attack more than ever on the federal, state, and local levels. On the state level, HB 148 is a bill that would allow any public or private organization or business to declare that their bathrooms are based on quote-unquote biological sex. That bill has passed the House and the Senate, and it was also attached to the state budget in order to try to avoid a veto. It was removed temporarily, but it still may be added back to our state budget. Whenever someone asks you about a bathroom ban, we need to be so clear that this was never about bathrooms. It's about blocking transgender people from participation in public life. These narrow interpretations of sex and gender harm intersex people who may not neatly fit into a binary definition of biological sex, and anyone who's perceived as at all gender nonconforming. But we also need to be clear that the bathroom bans are intentionally written to harm transgender women and girls the most. Many trans men and boys will be able to use the men's bathroom without being questioned. But we need to focus on the transgender women who are targeted most directly by these kinds of bills above all else. Authoritarian politicians are also coming for LGBTQIA books. And a book ban, HB 324, is also heading into Governor Ayotte desk. This bill attempts to fearmonger about quote-unquote sexual materials in school libraries, thinly veiled language that disproportionately sexualizes LGBTQIA experiences, and also misunderstands how important it is for anyone who has experienced sexual assault to be able to see themselves in material that reflects their experience. This bill would also allow any parent to challenge books and declare them off limits to all students, not just their own child, with criminal penalties for school librarians. Call Governor Kelly Ayotte and tell her to veto this bill. Also likely to be sent to Ayotte's desk soon are bills banning puberty blockers and hormone replacement therapy and all gender-affirming surgeries for trans youth. Those bill numbers are HB 377 and HB 712. We're also going to see bills that would require anyone who works in a school to quote-unquote forcibly out LGBTQIA youth to potentially hostile parents, with no workable exceptions for cases of abuse or neglect. If you haven't visited our 603 Equality table yet, which has the big Progress Pride flag and the blue top right next to the ACLU table, our good friends, and see our booth for a flyer with Governor Kelly Ayotte's phone number. If you call today outside of normal business hours, you can just leave a voicemail. And on the federal level, they are coming for adult gender affirming care next. Trump's bill that just passed the U.S. House of Representatives bans gender affirming health care through Medicaid and Obamacare for everyone, not just minors. 276,000 trans adults rely on Medicaid. Hundreds of thousands use Affordable Care Act plans. This bill would effectively cut them off. We cannot take for granted that Senators Hassan and Shaheen will oppose this. Call them today and tell them to vote no. On the local level, the New Hampshire School Boards Association is calling for school districts to remove their trans-affirming student policies out of fear of lawsuits from the Trump administration. The executive orders the administration has put out are vile and cruel, but they do not have the force of law and are being challenged in court. Compliance in advance is what the administration wants, and even if a policy is officially removed, anyone working in a school should still use the desired names and pronouns of trans students and support them in using the restrooms and facilities in which they feel most safe. This summer, we must be proud of ourselves and each other in spite of so many powers that be attacking our freedom to be ourselves from so many angles. We know there will be increased harassment when laws pass and people who are hell-bent on misunderstanding us feel empowered by the law to do no harm. That's why we are organizing trainings for LGBTQIA people to develop physical and verbal skills to resist threats, intimidation, and violence perpetrated by both strangers and familiar people. These de-escalation skills are more important now than ever. So sign up at our table if you're interested in joining us for a de-escalation training next month. We can't do any of this alone. We have to keep expanding the circle of people who are fighting alongside of us. That's why we're organizing storytelling events in New London, Plymouth, the Seacoast, and are working on organizing one in Manchester to share the personal stories that will drive people to take action and form community hubs that will build deeper connections and then fight back against local, state, and federal policies that harm us. Keep talking to your friends and neighbors who are with us in their hearts about taking more and more action, and keep talking to people in your lives who might be genuinely confused by misinformation about us. Because if we don't keep talking to them, the other side will. Keep speaking out, keep building our community, and keep having pride. Thank you so much, Milford Pride.